Just today, Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute.
And they were gone before people could even add them to their cart.
So Caitlin Clark's signature PE Kobe Bryant shoes.
I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty nice. Like, they are nice.
Caitlin Clark's Kobe PE shoes sold out in under a minute, and A'ja Wilson straight up couldn't handle it. While Clark's 13,000 pairs vanished like wildfire, Wilson's kicks are stuck on shelves, headed for the discount rack. Now the tension is boiling over, because the numbers don't lie, and Nike just picked their queen.
So we know the new Caitlin Clark Nike shoes came out, and they sold out. It was rumored that 13,000 pairs of Caitlin Clark's new Nike basketball sneakers were being sold on June 30th.
Caitlin Clark's Nike Kobe PE sold out within 60 seconds, and that's huge. We're talking 13,000 pairs gone in under a minute. It wasn't a sneaker drop, it was a feeding frenzy. People were lined up around the block, some even camped out overnight at Dick's Sporting Goods. And when the shoes dropped online, Nike's website straight up crashed. The servers waved a white flag. You had people online crying, literally devastated because they couldn't get a pair. It was chaos. Now flip the scene to A'ja Wilson's shoe, and it's a ghost town. Quiet. No hype. No crashing servers. No emotional tweets. Her sneakers didn't sell out in a minute. In fact, they didn't sell out at all. Rumors say Nike only produced around 3,000 pairs, and they're still collecting dust. Reports are already floating that they're heading for the clearance rack. That's a brutal look for someone who Nike spent years building up as the face of women's basketball.
Are they doing Kobe Bryant shoes?
The shoes went up for sale on Monday morning at $190 a pop. Now most are going for well over $350, with one pair even costing $642.
These are repurposed Kobe 5s in Indiana Fever colors, navy blue with touches of red, orange, and yellow. No personal logo, no over-the-top promo tour, and she still outsold A'ja by a mile. The resale value? Insane. These $190 shoes are now listed for $480 to $642 on resale sites like GOAT and StockX. One dude even found his size 12, going for $600. That's how strong Clark's pull is.
Thank God they get Caitlin Clark. She's injured for 2 weeks. All of a sudden, attendance goes down.
And if that doesn't tell you everything, let's talk numbers again. TV ratings. When Clark plays, you're looking at 2 million viewers tuning in. When it's A'ja, around 450,000. That's not a gap, that's a canyon. A lot of folks are pretending this is just sneaker culture, but come on, this is bigger than shoes. This is Nike getting smacked in the face with cold, hard truth. They gambled everything on Wilson. Commercials, ad campaigns, custom logos, even got Malia Obama to direct spots for her. And yet, it flopped, because hype can't compete with real momentum.
Any indication of what a Caitlin Clark signature shoe will do, I think Nike better continue to get on it and get ready to launch this brand for Caitlin.
Clark didn't even need help. No celebrity endorsement. No fancy shoot. She just shows up, drops 30-footers, stays humble, and the crowd does the rest. Her Kobe collab broke the internet, and it wasn't even meant to be hers originally. Nike hadn't even given her a solo commercial before this. Just group appearances, cameos. This Kobe release was the first time it felt like they finally recognized her power, and it took them way too long. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Wilson has been loud about not getting respect, loud in interviews, loud in Time magazine. Meanwhile, Clark stayed silent and let her game do the talking. But now, it's not just talking, it's shouting. Clark's presence alone breaks websites. Wilson's launches barely move the needle. That's not opinion. That's market reality.
It turns out it's really hard to develop a boldly disruptive shoe.
And then rolling that into what will be her shoe later in the year.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark was chilling courtside in repurposed Kobe's, rocking Adidas in college, barely getting a sniff from Nike's PR team. No logo, no campaign, not even a proper solo commercial. She wasn't even Plan B, she was like Plan Z. But here's where it gets hilarious. She still blew past Wilson in every single category that matters. Sales, check. Ratings, Double check. Cultural impact. Clark made Wilson's rollout look like a high school AV project.
I'd be actually happy out because I think they could have done a lot worse.
And this whole thing goes even deeper. You can feel the cultural split in the air. Aja Wilson's sneakers? They feel like homework. Something you wear to make a statement, not because you actually want them. Buying her shoes feels like you're checking a box on a social responsibility form. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's drop? That's Christmas morning, baby. People smashing refresh on Nike's site like they were trying to grab concert tickets for a once-in-a-lifetime show.
This was, I believe, Caitlin Clark's last game in the WNBA. And then also, of course, the WNBA All-Star Game had 3.4 million viewers, and that's the most watched WNBA.
And here's the thing Nike completely underestimated. You can't script charisma. You can't build Clark's energy in a marketing lab. They tried with Aja, and it came off stiff, like a TED Talk in sneaker form. Clark, on the other hand, just exists, and the entire sports world flips upside down. There's no choreography, no slogan, just buckets and buzz. Now let's talk about energy, because oh boy, the contrast is loud. Wilson's got this me-first energy that's hard to ignore. It's like she's campaigning for validation, and maybe that worked before Clark showed up. But now, it just looks petty.
Comes to attendance, when it comes to viewership, when it comes to jersey sales, when it comes to merch sales, it's going to be the biggest that we have seen.
Meanwhile, Clark, she stayed quiet. No media feuds, no public shade. She just walks into the gym, hits a 30-footer from the logo, and walks out like it's a grocery run. That's not just cool, it's powerful. She doesn't need to tell you she's a star. The reaction tells the story for her. Now Clark is selling out shoes in 60 seconds. Wilson's stock is quietly slipping into markdown territory. And Nike? They're finally waking up to the reality everyone else saw 6 months ago. Turns out, you don't need a campaign when you're already the moment.
How people view Caitlin Clark and whether people view that the WNBA needs to protect Caitlin Clark, the golden goose of a league, as which she is being called.
And here's the part that really hurts the league. They know they can't afford to lose her. The Fever might be her team, but Clark is the league's cash cow, ticket magnet, TV rating savior, and retail queen all rolled into one. She's not just selling out shoes, she's propping up the entire league. No exaggeration. And that leads us to the cold, unfiltered reality. This is all about economics now. The market doesn't care about feelings, awards, or carefully crafted ad campaigns. The market cares about results. And Caitlin Clark delivers.
We don't know how bad it is.
Let's rewind for a second. Clark generated $82 million in economic impact in Iowa alone. One player, one state. That's not just impressive, that's unprecedented. That's the kind of number that makes city councils hold emergency meetings. Meanwhile, Nike spent 2 years building the perfect hero arc around Wilson. And Clark came in, signed her $28 million deal, and flipped the entire women's category on its head, without even trying. Wilson had the edge in marketing. Nike rolled out the red carpet, handed her every tool. She got a $20+ million deal, her own logo, a shoe dripping in personal touches. And yet, all that effort couldn't stop Clark's repurposed Kobe's from breaking the internet. This is the uncomfortable moment when reality punches everyone in the face. You can pour millions into image building. You can push storylines. You can check all the right boxes. But if the people aren't buying it, they're not buying it.
She's number 1 and 2 in every offensive stat. She's hitting more threes this season than Steph Curry did in his first MVP season.
And they're buying Caitlin Clark. They're buying her shoes, her jerseys, her tickets, her story. They're showing up by the thousands, tuning in by the millions. Kids are pretending to be her on driveways. Grown men are refreshing Nike's site like they're trying to win the lottery. Clark isn't just a baller. She's a cultural meteor, a once-in-a-generation force that breaks barriers and racks up digits wherever she goes. And here's the thing. She doesn't need to say a word. No campaign, no begging for flowers. She just plays. And the world listens.
Her ability to step up in big moments. When the bright lights are on, Caitlin Clark is also on.
So yeah, the WNBA better make sure she's okay. Not just for Indiana, not just for the All-Star game, but for the whole ecosystem. Because right now, Caitlin Clark is women's basketball's heartbeat. And if that stops, the silence will be deafening.
She continues to prove her worth on the court every single time she steps on the court. And with that, she had a huge impact on elevating her entire team yesterday.
And you don't really get to be a dog and get to that platform where you get to bring a national title, the first one back to LSU, without having that type of mentality, that chip on your shoulder. And I feel like we have to let these young women be unapologetically themselves.
Because let's keep it real. This isn't just about sneakers anymore. This is a power shift. Aja was supposed to be the face, the one, the chosen star. But Caitlin, she became the one. No corporate blueprint, no forced narrative, just game, grace, and gravity. Clark doesn't chase attention, she creates it. She doesn't need press releases, she is the headline. This isn't about race or politics or any hot take Twitter's trying to push. This is about authentic, unstoppable star power that sells out shoes, packs arenas, and crashes websites. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon because Caitlin Clark isn't just here. She is the future.